Thank you. Hello, I'm Herman Cain. Are there any questions? I'll be happy to take some questions from you.
So why are you here?
I'm here to support Mr. Duane Sand, who is running for the United States Senate for the state of North Dakota. The reason that I'm supporting Mr. Sand is because he represents the mission that I'm on. Even after no longer pursuing the position of president, I am still on a mission. And that mission is to help the Republicans maintain control of the House, get control of the United States Senate, and defeat Barack Obama. Secondly, I also happen to believe that if we are going to dramatically change what goes on in Washington, D.C., we're going to have to do it from the outside bottoms up, meaning a massive people approach. And so this is also to excite people about staying involved, not only in the process, but even after the election. It is also to inspire them to want to be involved in following through on a saying that was popularized by former Senator Everett Dirksen. When they feel the heat, they will see the light. The American people are going to have to be the heat in order for Washington to see the light more on things like economic growth, like energy independence, like illegal immigration. As traveling around the country, I discovered that the American people are sick and tired of generic political rhetoric. They want some things fixed. And that's why I support Duane Sand. He is that type of individual and that type of candidate, and I hope I'm going to try to help him get to the United States Senate.
Mr. Cain, you've been a part of some scandals. The media has also shown a lot of scandals. Do you think that will influence your endorsement of Mr. Sand?
No, and first of all, they were not scandals. They were false accusations. Let's set the record straight. Every one of them was a false accusation. And they didn't stick because there was no merit to them. Secondly, most of the American people understand that they were false accusations, so I don't think it's going to have a negative effect on him at all. The other indication of that is the fact that I have been traveling to college campuses, still speaking at Tea Party rallies. I think the American people have decided that the court of public opinion may have been wrong, because I'm getting standing room only crowds, people who want to hear my solutions about what we need to do. And one of the other reasons that I'm supporting Duane Sand is because in addition to he and I agreeing on energy independence and a plan to get there, agreeing on rebuilding our military without gutting it by arbitrarily taking out $500 million. But he also adopted my 999 plan to replace the tax code, and for which I'm deeply grateful, because our biggest domestic problem is this economy. Until we grow at 4% GDP rate per year, we are not robust, and we will continue to fall behind. And so that's another reason that I wanted to support him.
What do you think of his decision to forego the convention process and go right to the primary?
I think his decision to forego the convention process, first of all, is his right. Secondly, I think it sends a message, and it sends a very critical message. And the message is, the people of this state, the Republicans that are going to vote in the primary, they are going to determine the Republican nominee. The reason that I say that is because the Republican Party, of which I was running on to seek the Republican nomination, I'm going to support the Republican nominee, whoever that is for president, make no mistake about it. But I've seen this sort of quote-unquote division in other states. And the fact that he wanted to make a statement that the people are going to elect this nominee rather than just quote-unquote the party leaders, I think he has a right to do that. It's very courageous of him to do so, and I absolutely have no problem with that.
Does that kind of show that the Republican Party is a good old boy network then? Or?
Well, no more than the Democratic Party is a good old boy network. They do the same thing, except maybe the advantage that they have is that they will come together and coalesce. Even if they're coalescing around the wrong solutions or the wrong ideas, they will come together probably a lot quicker than we do. But I think that's going to be different this time around, at state level as well as the national level. Duane has already said, whoever gets the nomination for the Republican Party, he's going to support them. I've already said, whoever gets the presidential nomination for the Republican Party, I am going to support them.
Have you met Rick Burke?
No, I have not.
Do you know much about him?
Nope. Only about his voting record. And I know that his voting record has not been a very conservative voting record.
So is that what makes you want to endorse Sand and not her, just because for his voting record, or is there some other reason?
Just those. Yes. I define conservative as someone who believes in less government, less taxes, more individual responsibility. I define a liberal as someone who believes in more government, more taxes, less individual responsibility. Duane believes, as I do, in terms of those conservative principles. And we have to communicate that to people. So it's for those reasons and those reasons alone.
Do you regret stepping down from the run for president?
No, I do not, and here's why. I made a decision to put family first. It wasn't that I couldn't take the lumps and the bumps and the criticism, but when some people in the media continued to spin those false accusations as if they were true, and my 13-year-old granddaughter heard a talk show host making jokes about her grandfather, and you could hear the pain in my wife's voice every time they replayed the same false accusations over and over and over, I made a decision, family first, but I'm still on a mission.
Do you think the establishment Republicans, Duane talked about it briefly, that have been backing Berg, what do you think they'll think about your big bus rolling into Bismarck? Do you think they'll be bothered by that? Do you care?
I don't care. It's not that, I mean, in all honesty, when I was running for president, I was considered the unconventional candidate. I irritated some Republicans because I didn't sound like everybody else. But the American people liked the way I sounded. And I think Duane has a right to do the same thing. Even at the national convention, I will participate if I'm invited. But let me give you the quote that someone used in Georgia after I ran for the United States Senate in 2004, which sums up why, with all due respect, I do not care about my presence here attracting any attention away from the North Dakota Republican Party. I respect that and all that. Many of the establishment Republicans have a problem with Herman Cain because they can't control Herman Cain. And that's what appeals to a lot of people. So I don't know whether it bothers them or not that I'm in the state. And quite honestly, I didn't know that it was on the same weekend until I got here. So I didn't come here to rain on that parade. I came here to help my friend Duane Sand.
Is your bus still in front of the forum out there? Because I know they have 90-minute parking.
Yes, sir. It's still parked out in front of the forum, and our driver is very resourceful. Let's just say that. So when the meter maid comes by, I think Doug will be able to handle the situation.
We'll see.
Can we expect to see you run for president ever again?
Probably not, but I never say never. My biological clock is ticking. And I don't want to spend the next 4 years and a half preparing to run for president again. What I want to be able to do, which is why I started Solutions Revolution, which is on the side of that bus. And we have a website called CainConnections.com, where we basically highlight the solutions, my weekly commentaries. I even do daily commentaries that are run in audio form on WSB Radio in Atlanta. They're going to be available on my website soon, where every day people can hear this voice, offering a message of the day for about 2 minutes. My objective is to help get this country back on track, because I think that we're on the wrong track. We got the wrong leadership. And so if I can stay active as a voice to help inform people and help inspire people to be involved, and it helps to change things, I will be a happy man. Because I have 4 grandkids, and it's not about us, it's about the grandkids.
Say, can we ask questions or just the press?
I think you can ask questions. Go ahead.
What do you think the biggest problem we have in this country right now is?
The biggest problem we have in this country right now is an ineffective Washington, D.C. Washington is broken. The leadership in Washington is broken. The United States of America is broke. This administration has not even put a budget out there in the last 3 years. We don't have a budget. President Obama pledged when he was a candidate to cut the deficit, national debt, in half in his first term. Instead of it going down 50%, it has gone up 50%. So Washington is not working because compromise doesn't solve anything sometimes.
I agree with you on that, but what are we going to do about a $15.5 trillion debt? What's your solution?
My solution to the $15.5 trillion debt is really very straightforward. We've got to have a robust economy with GDP growing at 4% or more per year. This is why I proposed my 999 plan. We're getting pushback from some folk in Washington on that because it's going to put 50% of the lobbyists out of work. I does not care. At the same time, show some serious spending restraint. The only way we're going to show some serious spending restraint is to send people like Duane Sand to Washington, D.C., adopt proposals like Representative Ryan has proposed to restructure Medicare, to block grant Medicaid. If you move the money closest to the problem, the people in North Dakota know best how to distribute those Medicaid dollars, not some bureaucrat in Washington, D.C. So if you take those kinds of measures and restructure Medicare, a la Paul Ryan, restructure Social Security, a la personal retirement accounts, like they did in the country of Chile, we will then be on a path to solvency. That's what it's going to take. But it's going to take a different type of leadership, and it's going to take a massive grassroots effort on the part of the people to hold their feet to the fire. One of the things about this great nation, we know how to fix our problems. We have solutions to every problem we have. I'm not mad at y'all. I'm just passionate about this. Okay, let me just throw it out. We know how to fix our problems. We have enough energy to become energy independent. We have enough energy to become energy independent. We just do not have the leadership or the collective will to make it happen the way Washington is working right now. We can decrease the cost of health care and increase access without being a massive government takeover. When Obamacare was passed in 2010, and when it was introduced in 2009, there was another piece of legislation introduced by the Republicans that was filled with market-driven solutions and suggestions. That never even got any attention. But there's a way to do it without taking over the healthcare system and keeping this road on a road to financial disaster.
Thank you very much. I'm interested in hearing if Duane's ideas are the same as yours.
Well, let's, y'all came here for lunch, didn't you? Yeah. Okay, let's get eating, and then we're going to talk to you more. Let's let the media get out. Herman, unless you want to...
Nope, if y'all are done putting me through the shredder, I'm done. Thank you very much.